I recently had the privilege of purchasing a typeset with coppers, silver, and gold. So you don't want to miss it. I'm going to share all these coins with you in this video. So stay tuned. But first, here's my website, portsmouthcoinshop.com. And I have a little drop-down menu where you can select the category you would like. I try to add another feature. It's also a menu item, of course. And over here on the side shows all of our most recent additions. And then you can click on the categories by the picture or just scroll through the pages because we have a lot of inventory up and some of these coins will be up on the site that you're seeing in this video. So if you get a chance, go to portsmouthcoinshop.com. A couple people in the comments have asked about, the values of these. Well, I don't want to go through and give values of all of them because then I'd have to look every single one of them up. I don't have all the values for every coin memorized. That's why I use a gray sheet. That's why I use sold auctions, most recent sold auctions, and as well as eBay when I have to. eBay buy it now. But you can go to PCGS and you can look the prices up of these if there's something that you're interested in or whatever. It's just a little more to do in the videos than I make the videos a little bit longer than what I want them to be, trying to do that. And have all those tabs open. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to show you this one. It's the first one. It's a ½ cent and it's 1807, very fine 25. And it's what they call the draped bust. And it's because of the drapery over her bust here is the main reason. 1807. Not far from when the mint was started. And then it obviously has a rotated die, which is pretty common for older coins, most of them. And you can see the wreath and 1/200 fraction. But that is a pretty nice coin. And we'll continue with what they call the classic head ½ cent. And it's extra fine 40, 1834. The coppers are not easy to take pictures of or to do video of when they're in a plastic holder, especially because they are darker. They don't reflect a lot of light, so you have to angle them a little bit. But this is a nice coin. A little more detail on it. Then we have the braided hair, and it's a ½ cent as well, AU 55, 1851. Finding one in this condition is not that easy. Usually all these coppers, they'll have some type of problem with them. They'll have, pitting or corrosion, or they'll just be really worn or some type of damage. So to find them problem-free after all these years, because copper is the most reactive coin metal, and it reacts to everything. And you can see a little bit of verdigris there. Then we have an 1831, extra fine 45, and this is the large cent. And it's the large letters. There's a lot of different varieties for these. So you have large letters and small letters, and all different dates have different varieties. There was a lot of changes made to some of the dies, and sometimes things were, misplaced date digits or things like that you will find. Here's one, AU 58, almost uncirculated here, 1852. And like I said, finding these in this condition, you don't see it very often. And when they get in the mint state, they were worth several $100s, and some of them even more than that, just depending. 1858, very fine 30, small letters, Flying Eagle. You say small letters, the letters are smaller, but they're also just a little different font. Really, people, I think when you're collecting, you see small letters and large letters. I mean, it's applicable, but it's also kind of a misnomer in a sense that you need to know that it's a different font. They weren't using the same font as they did on some of the others. So when you look at them, you'll notice there is a difference. And basically, when it comes to the A and the M and things like that on the Flying Eagle. Here's the reverse. You don't see these. I mean, very fine 30s, a pretty good grade to find one of these in. You see some of the eye and there's a little bit of wear here and there, but some of the feather details. And here's the 1859, which is the first year of the Indian head cents. I remember one time someone showed an 1858 that was up on eBay. It ended up being a pattern for an Indian cent. So remember that. Someone got lucked out on that one. It was damaged, but they was able to buy it for a pretty good price. But, you can see extra fine 40 if you've got an example. And to me, I think this one's, it probably should have been very fine 35. It has a little more wear for an extra fine, in my opinion, and a little bit of damage up here on the rim. But that's just me. Like I said, I can point out whether they overgrade too, not just undergrade. And you can see the reverse here. It's not that nice of a coin to me, but it's still not too bad. I mean, it's just what I'd expect in an extra fine 40 holder. Then we have an 1862 MS61. Like I said, these coppers that just don't have I try to get it a little bit closer, see if you can look at it a little bit better, but just looks like it has some rub to me. But like I said, it's got some other things. I probably need to look at that a little bit closer, because it may just be there that's a little struck through there. And then here's the reverse. So yeah, I'll have to look at that a little bit closer. I didn't examine these really close in hand. They came in whenever I was off one day, and Andy took care of them. There's little scratches on the holder there. Then we have a 1906 MS63BN brown. That's what that stands for. Nice coin there. Too bad at all. Sorry that the holder scratched up. And 1930 Mint State 65 red Lincoln cent. Some of these are kind of common, but you know, if you have this coin, then you can kind of gauge it against others. And I always say that, and I know probably it's kind of redundant, but the thing of it is, it gives you an idea of what might be a red cent right now. Also, what's 65 to PCGS, and if you find one a little better, it's potentially going to get 66 or higher. Not a guarantee, because there might be something you're not looking at, something you're missing. I do it all the time myself. Not perfect at all. Just when you think you understand the grading game completely, you get thrown a curveball. This is a 1943, one of the most misunderstood Lincoln cents out there, besides the 44. The 43 is supposed to be steel. It's supposed to stick to a magnet, and it is very common. They made millions of those. And this one here is 1943, just a Philadelphia mint. That's why it don't have a mint mark. It's normal. Mint State 65. And your 44 has to be steel to be worth money. So many people get that confused. This one looks like it has a little bit of strike doubling. Another thing people get confused, sometimes the date digits will be weaker, especially the 4. You'll see that. Replated examples. I mean, people have played with those for a long time. They're very popular coins, but they're not as valuable as people think they are. Some people think. And there's the 1960D. This is the small date. Another one that people get confused a lot. I think I have this in a video. But you can pretty much see it's just a different font. It's not the same long shaft on the 6, and the 0 is actually smaller. So it's basically just a different shape. So that's a different font. And that's one thing that people, if you get that in your head, more than likely you'll be able to remember what you're looking at, because we're going to show a large date next. And you can see the difference in, see how the O is and the 6. That's where the real difference is. See, it's just smaller, just a different shape. So this one here is 66, large date, obviously, and the 60D. And these are also known for the double die, which are pretty popular. I think I have one back there. It's not in good shape, but I still have one. Then we have a 2 cent, and it's 1866 extra fine 45. So when you find one of these with the "we," you can read it visible. The more, the better. Then you know you've got a pretty good example, pretty good high grade example. So this is a nice coin. I like this design. I like the shield. I like how everything comes together. I think it's you know, artful as far as that's concerned. The reverse not as much, but still it fills the whole coin. The design is balanced, and being an art student, a former art student, an artist, I guess you could say, and I can see that in some of these coins. That's why I like them, enjoy them. So if you hear noises in the background like crinkling or anything like that, it's Yuka, or my husky puppy, if you haven't seen the video. She's doing her little thing in the mornings until she settles down. She's got a lot of energy from being in her kennel all night. And here's an AU-53, 1858, 3 cent piece. Some people don't know these ever existed. Basically, for postage, like the 2 cent as well. These are one of the smallest U.S. coins, I think, besides the dollar gold. I think I did a video on that and kind of got it wrong a little bit, because, I mean, we're talking about weight and diameter and all that together, but these are very small. I call them trimes because they were very tiny, and they were like fish scales, and you could lose them very easily. And I know someone who found one in a typeset album that was forgotten because it got slid down inside the Dansko cardboard. So that was a nice little find, and AU is a pretty good condition coin to find these in. It almost looked mint state. He showed it to me. Here's another 3 cent version. And this one here is the copper nickel. So they say CN. It's PCGS Mint State 62. Even though these are common and not widely collected. To find one in mint state grade is very good. This has a little bit what they call a fancy 5, which doesn't really add any value to it. You just know that there are fancy 5s known for one of the fonts they've used on different coins. And this design's not too bad as far as it's kind of plain. It looks like a lot of the patterns from the time. You can also see a little bit of an area by the eye and on the right side there, and then over here you see that little darker line. That's the die clash. It's very common on these. Doesn't add any extra value, but it is kind of cool to find one with a die clash because, you know, obviously it is a mint error. And here is an 1866 5-cent piece nickel. It's got the rays. I'll show you on the back there. It's AU58, and you can see the rays in between the stars. And, you know, it's a pleasing design as well. I always like the type coins myself. Oh, you can see here too. They're known for die cracks. Nickel is very hard on dies. Nickel is a very hard metal, and dies wore out, didn't last as long. They would crack, and you'd see clashes and different things like that. There are a lot of varieties for this. These nickel shield nickels as well. They're in the Cherry Picker's Guide. So then we have another one, and this one here is an 1883 AU58, and they call them a shield nickel, of course, because they have the shield that we have on our cent, but they did a different version of it. But I still, you know, I do like that design, and this one has obviously no rays like the other. Sometimes they change designs because with the rays it adds more areas that can stress fracture, so they change designs. It's not the only reason they change designs. That's just one reason they might change a design on a coin. And this is an 1883 Liberty V nickel. Everybody's probably heard of the 1913, and that's a proof. But this one here is the 1883. It's the no cents on the back. And we all know that if you plate this in gold, it can look like a gold coin. You might be able to fool people. So they put cents on the back of these. And here's the example of that. And this has got a little bit of toning, and this one's graded AU55. And on the back, there's a cents at the bottom. All around nice coins, you know. See, there's a retained cut up here. And that's another thing people confuse a lot. See, I just see all this on coins, so it kind of gives me an advantage to everyone who searches. But a cut is a rim-to-rim die break, and that's definitely a retained cut right there because it's connecting the rims. That's where cuts are. And here is the 1913 Mint State 64 Type 1 Buffalo Nickel, and the Type 1 is on a mound. And you can see that it's a rougher design, has a rougher appearance, I should say. And you can see that it's just kind of like it's just on top of a mound. Then you have the 1936, which is the Type 2 reverse, which would be on a plane. It's a Mint State 65. And most type sets would have the Type 1 and 2 13. Sometimes you can put those in there, but this one is an example of what it would look like. 1913 is the only one that had the mound on the mound, Type 1s. So 1943, Mint State 64, a Civil War nickel. And you know that it's silver when it has the P over the building. This is the first year, or say the first time, the U.S. Mint put a P on a coin. And then didn't start doing that again until 1979. So that's why you have all these no mint mark coins that everybody gets confusing. And with it being 43, it is the first year, yes. So you got all these no mint marks comments, and it doesn't make it worth more unless it's a proof or an 82 Roosevelt dime without the mint mark. Because by 80, all denominations had the P mint mark on them except for the cent, the Lincoln cent. And then 2017 would be the only year that actually put a P on it, but then after that, none. So 1950D, this is a little key date. This coin got my dad started in coin dealing in 1954 because someone told him, "Are you putting back your 1950D nickels?" He said we're only worth a lot of money in the future. Well, they did retain a value, but not the value that the guy thought that was talking to Dad. But still yet, this is the coin that started it. If it wasn't for this release, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. It's kind of amazing to think about it. One coin, one date, one mint mark. That's, yeah. Really, when you think about it, it is kind of something else to think. You never know how you're going to influence somebody when you say one little thing to them. You don't know what that conversation is going to lead to, how profoundly it can affect their lives, their futures, their sons and daughters, their grandson's future. You have no idea. Now, one time that I had that conversation with someone over a 50D nickel, it's amazing to me. This is a first strike PCGS Mint-State 66. It's proof-like. You don't see these in proof-like very often. PCGS is doing that. So this is the new Jefferson nickel design they started. I think it was 2006. And that was kind of mixed matched in there for some reason, the type coins, because it was the nickels, obviously. But, it's one of the modern ones. We have to put it in there. It's 1832 AU55. This is half cent. This is the capped bust. Hard to see in the video because it's really darker toned and the toning is kind of uneven on the surface there. And here's the reverse of it. But I do like these designs. You can actually probably call these a 5-cent silver if you wanted to. But they're considered, half dimes. Then here is an 1871 AU55, another half cent. This is a seeded half cent. It is also toned. But I do like the seeded design. It's one of my favorites. And we have the 1835, very fine 25. This is your dime, 1835 cap bust dime. I like the cap bust. I just like them, period. It doesn't matter. Just like coins. So if you like coins, you're going to enjoy it. It doesn't make any difference. Then here's an 1887S AU50. This has a little more luster to it. Barely circulated. Someone just pulled it out. And you never know. I'd put it in a sock drawer. Who knows the history? You see the S Mint mark down here at the bottom. Then we have a 1914 AU55 Barber dime. It also has a luster too. And there's the reverse. A 1939 D Mint-State 66 full band lines. When you are talking about full band lines, fully struck all the way across, that's how you know. And then even at that, you might miss something on it and they will disagree with you. Grading companies are notorious for disagreeing with people who submit coins to them. Maybe it's because they have the experience. Maybe it's because they had a bad day. Maybe it's because they're not as good as they think they are sometimes. But it can all be all of the above at one time or another. 1946 D, Mint-State 66. Roosevelt dime. First year of the Roosevelt dime. And the mint mark on these is right here beside the torch. And there are full torches. You can call it full bands, full torches, whatever on these two. And there's an 1875S AU53 20-cent piece. Looking at typesets, you see all the different denominations that the United States Mint produced and minted. And a lot of people don't even know this. They have no idea that there's 20-cent pieces, 2-cent pieces, and 3-cent pieces. So it's good to watch these videos, good to learn about coins, broaden your horizon, buy you a red book and go through it and flip through it. Buy you the large edition. I recommend buying the mega edition because it has some photo grade in it. It has some auction results and values. I mean, you just can't do without that book. I probably should carry them and sell them, but it's hard to sell them for a good price because they're kind of expensive, but they're well worth the price. It's like buying a college course in numismatics. I'm not kidding. I can't stress that enough. Buy you a mega red book. 1833 PCGS, very fine 25. And I have no stake in that claim because I don't have links pointing to it. I guess I could put some affiliate links in the bottom. Maybe someone will buy it. I can, but that's why I said it's important. I'd give them away if I could afford to. But it's a nice one. It's the cap bust quarter, 25-cent piece. Then here's a 1853 AU55. This one has the arrows. The arrows signified a change in the metal, the actual weight of the coin. A lot of people shaving the edges and doing different things with silver and all that, and they were trying to prevent that from happening and doing all kinds of different ways of trying to make the money circulate and not be modified or in any way. But it's really nice. It's quarter doll on the back for $1. I do like the eagle. Some of these designs I would like to see resurrected in modern coins, and it doesn't have to be silver. Just put them in circulation because I'll tell you what, the W quarter program People are still collecting those and looking for those, and they're still worth money. They're worth as much as finding a silver quarter right now. So yeah, I do think that's a good idea to keep doing that, and they haven't. But I wish they would. What would be wrong with having a clad barber quarter or seated quarter, find it in your change, produce 2 million of them like they did the W quarters? I think it'd be a great thing. I think it would help the hobby a whole lot. So it's 1914 PCGS Extra Fine 45. People can get something at, out of their change. They can't afford to buy stuff all the time, but they can find something like that and they can flip it, make a little bit of money too. Here's a reverse. This one here, looks like kind of cleaned a little bit to me, but with it being Extra Fine 45, it's probably pretty nice for an Extra Fine 45. Here's a 1917 AU58 Type 1. There's a lot of little different design things on a Type 1, but the main thing on a Type 1 when it comes to the standing quarter is the reverse. No stars under the eagle. So when you have that and it's a no date, you also want to look for the 16 because those are very rare and valuable. 1916 standing quarters. And here's a 1926D mint state 63. Very nice coin, finding 63 and up. See if we can get a bit closer on that one. Very nice coin. They're known for full heads too. This one is not, obviously. And here's the reverse. It's a nice, pleasing coin there. That one I really like. Then we have a 1940 PCGS mint state 64. And here's the reverse. We've all seen Washington quarters too, but it's in here. I'm going to show one more modern coin here. And this one is a 1976S mint state 67. These were produced in proof, and this is considered the uncirculated MS version. And they came in sets. So when you see these, they do have a different luster than the regular, but they have the S mint mark on them. And they are 40% silver. Then, of course, here is the modern Washington quarters. We have the 1913S Mount Rushmore limited edition proof set. And I do like the fact that they did these designs and commemorated things in America. And then here's obviously a state quarter here. And it's silver as well. And it's Idaho here. And decant. Then here's a 1826 Extra Fine 40. And this is the cat bust $50. And here's the reverse. Always like seeing coins like these. Just nice coins all around. 1858 O New Orleans Mint. AU50 WB101, which signifies a variety. I don't know which variety that is. I didn't research it. Most varieties don't add a lot of value. It's just something people collect to add to their collection. Once you collect all the dates and mints, then you want to go for some of the minor varieties or major varieties and things like that. So there's the mint markers down here on these. 1912D Extra Fine 45 Barber $50. So when you start looking at these in fine and up, then they become extremely valuable, and some of the dates are really almost out of reach. But I do like the Barber $50. And there's the mint mark on these down here underneath the eagle feathers. Some of them, the Philadelphia issues are pretty good too, as far as low mintage and worth a little bit of a premium. 1935 mint state 63. We see a lot of these, but like I said, one of my favorite designs. Never get tired of looking at these. Very pleasing. Well struck coin. 1948D mint state 64 full bell lines. This one is the first year of the Franklin $50. And you can tell those lines. I mean, they're all the way across. They got some contact marks in it, but that's what's considered a full bell line for this one. Then we have the 1964, the only year that Kennedy $50 are 90% silver. They're 40% silver from 1965 up to 1970. So anyway, this one here is mint state 65, which is pretty good to get 65 and up in these here. And here's the reverse. And then here is the 40% silver version. You saw the quarter. Now this is the Kennedy $50, mint state 67 silver. These came in the set together with the quarter, the $50, and then the Eisenhower dollar. You can tell by the luster when they're silver. Then here is an 1876S Extra Fine 45 trade dollar. Like the trade dollars. Here's the reverse. Then we have the Eisenhower $73S. This is a proof, and it is silver. You see the S Mint mark down here. You can tell by the luster, clad and silver look different. Here's the reverse. That's a decam. Nice looking coin there. Now here is the 1976S Eisenhower dollar version of the silver that was released mint state, like with the other two. And this is mint state 66. A lot of people send these off trying to get the 68s and the higher grades. Some of these can be worth some money, and the right grades, you know. And we have a 1979, and this is the first year the Philadelphia Mint put a P on regular coins. Okay, except for, like I said, the war nickels. So here you have the 1979. You always look for the wide rim, although I don't think they're as rare as once thought, because it seems like we're finding a lot of those lately. But they do add a little premium to the coin, maybe $5 and up, something like that. And now for the gold. This is an 1853 AU58 gold $1. As far as diameter is concerned and all, this is the smallest U.S. gold coin minted. But it's right there with the Trim. There's not a whole lot of difference in their size. But this one here being AU58, that's pretty cool. Because these coins are so small, you've got to think they're easily lost and worn and damaged, and people use them in their jewelry. So for this one to be problem-free, it's really cool. Really nice to find one like this. 1862 gold dollar. This is the Indian Princess. This one's real popular for jewelry. The design is. You see a lot of these in bezels and things like that. And here's the reverse. You can see the date there in the middle. And then we have a 1902 250 mint state 61 gold. Here's the reverse. See the 2.5D there. Then in 1912, my favorite design on the gold coins is extra fine 40. And these are hard to grade for some people and very hard to authenticate. I had someone bring in a very nice 1893 $5 gold piece. And I got to looking at it. When I first looked at it, it looked like it was a little off on the patina. And it ended up being a fake. It had some issues and some dye marks and things that it shouldn't have had. It did test out to be gold, though. So you have to be careful out there. 1881, mint state 62. The nice coin has a lot of marks on it. Looks like it might be more like a 60, but that's okay. It's not going to matter a lot in value. Doesn't huge jumps and leaps. But it has a little bit of rim issue up here as well. And here's a 1909 AU58. And it's just a larger version of the 250. Like I said, you know, this Incuse design, it's not completely Incuse. Actually, Bill Favad was sending me a message about that. You know, it's kind of a both. It has a little bit of both in the design. Some of them are higher than, but it's the way it's engraved into the die. It's some of it is Incuse. And here is another Indian design that I like, and it's the 1926 graded mint state 62 $10 gold piece. That's what they call an eagle. And that brings me to this one. 1928 mint state 62 $20 gold piece. This is the St. Gaudens, one of the most popular designs ever. Considered the top design ever. It's not my #1 design, but you know, I can see why people really like this. Very large, a lot of gold, and there's the reverse. So thanks for watching my latest video. I hope you enjoyed this. A lot of nice coins. Hope you could see them really well because I did my best with it, but thanks for watching anyway. And please like, share, and comment. Hit that bell to get all notifications. Make sure you're still subscribed to my channel. And have a great day.